when he first came home and said, babe, they just, laid us off. The moment he said those words to me, it's like all that pressure kind of hit me at once. And I was like, oh shit, like it's on me. You know what I'm saying?
Homie.
Like,
it's on
like
me,
damn,
homie.
right.
Preaching that you look at like Cardi B and like her energy, how she raps, and Megan Thee Stallion, and when she dropped the album, how she rapped. Like Cardi B, totally married and a straight like housewife. She like a housewife. She's straight feminine.
Did you see the video that Offset posted? He said, you be lying in your music. He was filming her while she was cleaning the bathroom.
Right, exactly.
Because she said she don't cook, she don't clean.
He's like, I thought you said you don't cook, you don't clean. What you doing?
Right, exactly.
Like, and then, don't film me. Shut up. Don't film me. Okay. Welcome to the TMF Podcast, where we have too many feelings. I'm your host, T Staples, and I'm joined by...
your main man, Freddie B. We in the building.
I heard that, Freddie B. And who else we got?
What it do? It's your girl, Lana Boo.
Woo! Booyah! And for all y'all listening, we're bringing you all these feelings from the comfort of our homes. That's right, 100% remote. So if you feel our show, show us how you feel by subscribing so you get notified when the new episodes drop. And if you like what you're hearing, send us a message. Our handles are in the description below. We love to hear how you feel. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about 21st century gender norms, the female breadwinner, and changes to where the money resides.
Where the money resides, where the money resides.
But first, it's time for a moment I like to call the Internet NEVA Lost. Yes. In my attempt to navigate the interconnectivity that is the internet, I find myself not having to do any navigation at all. That's because I find myself running into the meme stock drama. That's right. The drama that began with wild swings in the price of GameStop, AMC, Naked, Nokia, and BlackBerry stock last month had to face the House Financial Services Committee in a hearing headed by Auntie Maxine, that's right, Maxine Waters, and her colleagues with questioning of major players who were involved in various aspects of the drama on Wall Street. And who are these players, you may ask? Well, let me tell you. Reddit CEO Steve Hoffman, Citadel CEO Ken Griffin, Melvin Capital hedge fund manager Gabriel Plotkin, Vladimir Tanev, CEO of Robinhood, and Keith Gill, regular old guy, trader, Reddit subreddit poster, aka named Deep Fucking Value, also known as Roaring Kitty, who noted, a few things I am not a cat. I am not an institutional investor. I am not a hedge fund. But he is a regular Joe who was more than just deep fucking value. He had some deep pockets because he made a whole lot of money. And what was the drama all about? Well, there was a humongous influx of average Joe investors hopping in to buy a stock to inflate it so they could deflate a position that the big hedge fund managers have taken. A short position, that is. A position against GameStop. Now, why is this such a big deal? I don't know. Maybe it's the video that one of the hedge fund managers put out, pretty much being cocky about his position, saying that, they're short position, that it's a losing business and we're going to take advantage of it. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Or maybe there's just some people who just wanted to make some money and say, let's all get on a bandwagon and let's inflate this stock. Let's take a ride. So it wasn't hard to find this week's clip. This week's clip comes from Dr. Boyce Watkins, who has the Black Financial Channel, where it's supposed to be home for the Black intellectual. Sometimes he's not that intellectual, in my opinion. He's supposed to be the doctor, but I guess when the doctor's in the building, because you got that designation, that everybody's supposed to listen to you. But he has a show, and they're talking about this very move in the market, and they had some thoughts on this market movement. And for this segment, I want you guys to actively listen. So I got Alana Boo online, as you heard. I got Freddie B on the line, as you heard. I want y'all to listen to what these clips have to say, because I'm gonna discuss each one of these clips right after they play.
We like GameStop. We want to help them modernize. We want to encourage everybody to jump in, buy the stock, hold it, so that we can all go make this a better company. But that's not what they're doing. They're not trying to have sex so they can make a baby. They're trying to have sex so they can get off. The billionaires are going to be fine. A lot of the leaders are going to be fine. The people that you have to worry about are the people that don't understand what's going on, that jump in either because they believe in the noble cause or because they want to try to take advantage of what's going on there. If they're following the trend, but they don't understand when they're getting into the trend too late. They're getting into the musical chairs game after the music has stopped, and they get stuck holding the chair. And theoretically, that's who the SEC is supposed to protect.
I don't want us to paint the entire movement with one broad brush, to be honest, because we do know that there are people who are involved in this who are clearly manipulating this. You know, they want to make their money, but this is a movement that encompasses millions and millions of people who do want to just make some money. And if we're talking about manipulating the market, listen, this speaks to education and research. At the end of the day, it speaks to that. And we shouldn't always have to fall back on the excuse of, well, you know, we didn't know any better. You know, we just, the uninformed. Why is the argument that we're always uninformed? Shouldn't we start informing ourselves? Do your research so you can make a more informed decision about what you're doing. So I understand it. So yes, I get it. Regulations are needed, but at this point, I don't think that additional regulatory action needs to be implemented. Personally, I think this should serve as an example of what happens when you allow the billionaire class to continue to get away with malfeasance for so long, to where they basically have their hands around the neck of the little guy. So it's true. So it's like, I don't want to fight against our right to push back against this, because if they stop us from pushing back against this, then at the end of the day, the status quo wins again. The only problem is that we are stuck appealing to the status quo to correct the status quo.
So what do you think, Alana Boo, Freddie B? I mean, with all the things that happened this week in the stock market, all the thousandaires and millionaires that was made off of the people going after the big billionaire hedge funds and pumping up a stock that is frankly of a company that's probably not worth half of a quarter, a third, a 16th of what they pumped it up to. Should these regulators get involved and do something to help the little guys in the end, per se? Or should they do something to make the game fairer from the jump so that nobody can manipulate the stock?
I mean, like, we live in a time where it's difficult now because we got social media. Everybody can create a wave and then just run with stuff. You know, you got cancel culture. You got so many different things that now people can start a wave in literally an hour. And that's what's happening. Like, everybody is congregated on Reddit, this Reddit thread, which has like 1 million members.
6 million now.
6 million, yeah.
It went from the hundreds of thousands to 1.4 million about 2 weeks ago. And then when this move happened last week, it jumped to 3 by Tuesday and 6 by Wednesday.
Right. They got a Twitter profile that's verified. Like, you know, it's just not like, now you can do old fashioned witch hunts. Like, that's what all this is. All this amounts to. Back in the day when, you know, in Salem, Massachusetts, when they would do the witch hunt, like, oh, that's a witch, and everybody just like get the pitchforks and then run and get them. Like, nobody asked any questions.
I like that. That's a great analogy to this. I like that analogy. That's good. That's real good.
Yeah, that's where we at with the social media. So with the stock market, it's one of them things like what do you do? Because it's like the little people, like in this case, the little people are able to stick it to these billionaires because Michael Jordan lost a whole bunch of money in this because the team, because he owns like 70% of the Hornets, and then like the rest and like some other people that he's involved with are these hedge fund people, and they've lost like millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in this GameStop fiasco.
19.75 billion, I think, at this point is what the hedge funds have lost. Yeah,
so you know it's real crazy. So it's like what does the SEC do to curb and stop this? Because and it's also interesting how, like, Robinhood is in the middle of this, and they have a class action lawsuit against them now from the people who couldn't trade the GameStop stock because they stopped them. But the app is called Robinhood, and like Robinhood, the mythical figure, robbed from the rich and gave to the poor. Exactly what's happening. So it's like it like Robinhood, the owners of Robinhood should get smacked with a lawsuit. So I'm kind of like, it sounds like I'm on both sides, but I think I probably would err a little more to the little guy getting their just due. But like I said, you also got this witch hunt mentality of social media. Everybody can just jump on the wave and then run with it crazy, and to the detriment of whoever it is. Because right now it's a detriment to the billionaires. But in the same voice, in the same breath, it could be a detriment to a regular person.
And you know what? It's interesting you brought up the witch hunt. You brought up the Reddit group because that is the group that kind of pushed or started the movement, Wall Street Bets on Reddit. And like he was saying, they got millions of users and readers on that. And what I find interesting about this is that hundreds, I think almost 200,000 thousandaires were made. You know what I mean? From this, like people who did not have this a high level of money where they could pay student loans. And I saw somebody paid their mother the surgery that she's been waiting on. And I've seen a lot of just success stories or prosperity stories, more or less, from this play that's happening in the market. And meanwhile, on the other side of the gate, you got the billionaires crying foul. But then one of the companies, Citadel, is connected to investing in Robinhood. And so when Robinhood stops one side of the bet, see, the thing about what you said, Freddie B, when Robinhood took the stock off, what is telling and truly telling about this situation is it is the rich cheating to win, because Robinhood didn't stop people from selling GameStop. They stopped people from buying it. They stopped one side of the bet, and the side of the bet that they stopped was the side that the little guys were using to win, because the way they were winning was by inflating the price of it from buying it, continually buying it. Buy. Even on the Reddit group, it says on their site, YOLO, you only live once. Dump life savings into this. People were taking 50,000, 100,000, their 401ks, all of their savings, and throwing it onto this stock. And when you stop that one side of the bet that is winning, to me, you're not playing fair. Alana Boo, what are your thoughts on this? Just so far,
I'd agree with that. To stop one side is definitely not playing fair. I don't know, just a whole lot about exactly what's going on to just really, get in deep with it.
Right.
But if you're gonna do it fair, then do it fair.
Right.
But it almost just seems like, they just want the rich to get richer, and like the poor man was basically, climbing that ladder and was gaining. And then you want to stop one side of it, and it's like, really, I don't personally think that's fair in the situation. I do know that, like, back in 2008, 2009, I think it was Volkswagen who this had a similar situation happened, and it makes me want to go back and say, well, did you do that then to them? Because at that time, social media wasn't the beast, that it is now, like what Freddie B was talking about. And so it may not have been an article like a Reddit that pushed, just the average Joe. So in that case, it was more already wealthy people, millionaires, billionaires that were a part of the Volkswagen push.
Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly don't think it's fair.
Yeah, I think if the little man is winning and he's figured out how to play your game.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I understand what Freddie B means by the witch hunt, but let's just say if the witch really was a witch, okay? And they say that's really a witch though. Okay, those people might not be witch. This is a real witch. These guys are trying to take this business out of business by shorting their stock. They're taking the value of the stock down. The further down it goes, the more they win. They are shorting the stock. And these lay folks say, well, we can squeeze you out of this. We can essentially create what's called a short squeeze. We're gonna buy it until it can't be bought no more. How about that? To me, I think that is the whole purpose of, like Freddie B said. And I love your analogy, Freddie B. I love the thought of Robin Hood. Isn't that what Robin Hood did?
Yeah, that's what it did.
That's okay.
Exactly it.
Okay.
And I mean, and a lot of this stuff is barrier to entry. Like, because before, when you bought stock, the barrier to entry was one of, because the barrier to entry is primarily education. And so before, you had these apps and you could just download the app on your phone and you can look and you can read and see numbers and get all the information right to your phone. Before, you had to go buy a newspaper and you had to search. You had to do a lot of searching to get the information to invest and to invest in stock. And more than likely, you had to enlist the help of a stockbroker or somebody of that ilk to know what the hell is going on. So most people didn't do it. Now the barrier to entry is so low.
Right.
And so, and most of the people who are involved in that are rich people. And so they're able to circulate that money amongst the rich because the barrier to entry was high. Now it's low. Now it's like, okay, hold on, wait, whoa. Like, we got to figure out, we got to change this up to now the barrier to entry is low, but now we got to add some different loops in there for y'all to jump through to actually make progress. It's almost similar like the golf. Like golf, the barrier entry is so high, and you look at who plays golf and compared to who plays basketball and football, because the barrier to entry is low, so people can hop in. Golf, barrier to entry is high. Tennis, barrier to entry is high.
Well, I'm gonna pin you right there. I'm gonna stop right there. We'll play our second clip for the Internet Never Lost, because barrier to entry is a good conversation to have. Freddie B, here we go. Let's take a listen to this.
Right. So somebody just decided, okay, let's take this stock that has no value and let's just pump it up. And you cannot tell me in a billion years, you can never convince me that they're doing it just because they want to, take from the rich and give to the poor. I believe that they in there like, okay, I read tons of stories. I mean, I got students that had made $100,000 this week on that stock. So you can't tell me that it's all about we're gonna just do the right thing or stick it to the man. It's also like I'm gonna go in here and get my money, and if I know I can artificially inflate the price of a stock and do a pump and dump anytime I want without any scrutiny whatsoever, that seems to be something that needs to be regulated. What do you think?
I mean, if you're gonna regulate this situation, then you're gonna have to also target the same billionaires who have been making a lot of money off of manipulating the market for a very long time. So I mean, unless you're gonna all out ban speculation all around, you're gonna have to show some type of fairness in this. And I'm particularly interested in what the SEC is going to do regarding this, because they just put out an announcement saying that they're going to be, looking into this, and they're going to make sure that retail investors are protected. But that's an equivocal statement. And it is an equivocal statement because most of the language that is used to disenfranchise us is always framed as for our protection. So just because you heard him say that, don't go thinking that, oh yeah, we're going to save you guys. Nah, bro. They're going to impose more restrictions on you in order to protect you. The same way that they censor you. It's for your own good and your own protection. So I say everyone should pay attention to what's going on right now. Really keep a keen eye on this, because what they do next is really going to speak to their true intentions as it pertains to the American people.
So Freddie B, you were just speaking on barrier to entry. Does this mean that it's a potential that these regulators could come in and raise the barrier to entry? Because Robinhood made it easy for a lot of people to get in. And let me not just put the onus on Robinhood, because really Robinhood to me is one of the villains in the situation. Okay. But Webull, okay, Fidelity, TradeStation, E-Trade, all of these companies, Thinkorswim, all of these companies who allow retail investors from our folks out here who don't know, are just people like me and you, just regular old people who can hop in with no money and start an account, and they make their first trade and don't get charged a commission for those trades. So they call them retail investors. These applications, these software applications, and these phone apps allow many people to do it. And I would be remiss. I done shout out all them white companies. I have to shout out Doe, which is a black broker that you can download on your phone and do the same thing you can do with Robinhood. You can trade stocks, and it's black owned. So I have to shout them out, make sure I put that out there, because, you got all these white ones. But they have allowed these people who normally they had to go actually get a broker on Wall Street to make the trade for them, right? They've allowed them to come in and be able to do this. And now they come in. You told us to get this financial literacy. You told us to go learn about it. You told us this is what you should do. This is what you should have been doing. And now that we're doing it, and we figure out, oh, wait a minute. You guys are taking companies out by shorting their stock. Well, we don't like that. We like video games. Okay. Some of them people like Fortnite. Okay. Some of the people want to go to GameStop and buy trinkets and toys and whatever they want to do. And you about to take them out of business? You about to bankrupt this company? No, we don't like that. We decide we're going to buy the stock. And we're going to keep buying it. And we're not going to stop buying it until we get tired of buying it, until we go broke and we ain't got no food on the table. And we're going to keep buying it. Oh, but while we're doing it, we're going to get rich doing it. So yeah, my cash is gone, but my intrinsic value is so high that if I cash out, you are done, son. What do you think about this? Freddie B. Alana Boo. I mean, are they going to raise the barrier to entry now?
Alana?
Hell, we'll see.
She said, I mean, yeah.
Oh, hell.
Hell. That's that Nashville that came out of her right there, boy. God.
Straight country, backwoods, like hell. She
Hell,
well, I can do everything goddamn else.
Goddamn else. We see them goddamn honky tonk motherfuckers do.
I think it's definitely gonna happen because you talking about infringing on some of these people who are multimillionaires and billionaires' money, and they don't they got there for a reason, and they plan on keeping that money. So they gonna go to the government. You got lobbyists.
They're gonna do whatever
they gonna throw money to.
Yep.
Yeah, they're going to throw money to all these different people like, we need this law passed to add this to the amendment to the legislation of trading or whatever needs to happen to where then now when you trade on these different things, like it's an extra hoop that you got to jump through and you got to give this money or there's different taxes. Like, they have a tax where they'll probably have a catch-all to where if you don't make a certain amount of trades per year, if you don't make a certain amount of money in your trades per year, if you over a certain level and you're under a certain level, it's kind of like, how the middle class is getting squeezed out. If you fall in this little middle area, then you got all these taxes to pay, and your tax situation is gonna be so complicated that you gonna have to have an accountant, a CPA to work on your stuff. And then a lot of people are like, I don't even feel like dealing with that. Let me just stay small because I know I ain't gonna be able to make millions of dollars per year to not deal with this. It's just like in regular income, like multi-millionaire and billionaires, they make so much money that they know how to find all the loopholes, like what Trump did. Trump ain't the only one that only paid $75 or whatever he paid in taxes.
$750.
$750, right? Because Amazon as a company didn't pay no taxes.
No, they get refunds. They actually get refunds.
Exactly. Yeah. Same thing with Bill Gates. Bill Gates don't pay no taxes. The government owes him. He gets refunds back as well.
Wait. Well, you can't categorize him because the people mistakenly put him in that category because you have to remember he's in a state where they don't collect taxes from him, and he's built the government out, so they actually owe him for reasons of bailouts. Right. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Exactly. So, but then
Bezos, you could put in that category. You could put Bezos in there, and you could put what's his name, Musk, the new world's billionaire. Richest man.
But what I'm saying is when you get to a certain level, you get so high up, you know how to maneuver and leverage all your different stuff to where you're not paying no taxes. You don't pay nothing to the tax,
right? To
the tax man. But then you in that middle area, that middle class, you making high $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. You in that area where your leverage ain't up there yet, but then you not poor to where they gonna be just where it doesn't make sense for them not to take no money from you, and you gonna get hit with like 33% of your money you make got to go to tax man. But then if you too poor, then okay, you don't pay no more taxes again. So I think there's something to happen like that with the trading.
No, I feel that because I being even in the position I'm in, what you just said is interesting because I look at my taxes like even where I am in percentage of earners, I'm like, wow, I'm like what Freddie B would call, I think you call him talented Tiff. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in that 10%. I'm in that 10% bracket, but then I don't feel it because they take so much from you. It feel like I jump right back down to the back to the 20%. So I think that this is interesting. All my fans out there, 2 questions for you. Should the SEC step in? Second question, if they step in, who are they going to ultimately protect? Send us a message. Our handles are in the description below. Let us know how you feel about this whole Wall Street drama. This has been yours truly, T Staples, and this week's edition of The Internet Never Lost.
But it might lose this time.
Right.
I did this topic for The Internet Never Lost because I think it's a good segue into what our topic today is, which is talking about 21st century gender norms, the female breadwinner, and where the money reside. And just like AMC stock, we saw that the market decided, the market being whatever the market decides the price should be, decides where the money resides. These new power women, these women of the 21st century are shifting our gender norms. Alana Boo,
what's up?
Tell me this.
Mm-hmm.
The female breadwinner, changing where the money reside. This topic for today. How big is this? I mean, are we talking about a few women? Because we know black women and women in general, but black women in particularly are graduating at a higher rate than the men are. They're going to college at a higher rate than the men are. We know the statistics, but how big of an issue is this? And is this an issue at all, or is this something we should be celebrating?
I definitely think it's something that we should be celebrating. historically men have been the breadwinners in the family, and it's as with everything in life, things must change, and there's going to be a shift. And I think that it's something that it needs to happen. I'm all for equal pay, for women and men that are doing the same jobs. I'm all for that. For the longest, the men have been paid more than the women, even though they're doing the exact same job. And that's not fair. So things are starting to balance out. We're not quite there yet. As of right now, I found this article on National Public Radio, I think it's .org, and it basically says that nearly 30% of American wives in heterosexual dual income marriages earn more than their husbands, and that's according to a 2018 data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So that's up from 18% back in the 80s, back in like 1987. So we're making great gains and great strides. We're not 100% there yet, but the tide is definitely shifting to more of a female breadwinner situation. And I'm here for it. Are you here for it, Tommy T?
I am here for it. I'm here for it. I think that women should, if you are doing the same job as a man, that you should be getting paid the same as the man. What question I would have is, what are the jobs that are in question here, that women are not getting paid the same but are doing equal work for? Because one of the things that I kind of find myself in battle with as I've been in corporate America is I've noticed that there are these little sneaky ways, right, that the company set things up where, well, she's an executive producer of X, Y, and Z, but he's the chief content official of X, Y, and Z. They both have control over what's happening, but his title's bigger, so his check is bigger. And the same thing if you bring it down to a smaller level. So I'm kind of curious, like, if they're doing the same work with different titles, should they still be getting paid the same, or does the title change anything?
Does the title dictate?
Right? Does it dictate
what the salary is?
It's like I'm the branch manager, and I'm the assistant manager, but I'm doing all the work that the branch manager should be doing. Should I be getting the branch manager check, even though my title does not give me the credential that the branch? So I'm kind of curious about that, because a lot of these things, when I hear women say equal rights, equal pay, men, often tag onto that equal responsibility. And when they tag that on there, women go, And so I'm curious, are we doing the same job, or are we talking about titles, or what are we talking about when we say that? Because I think the statistic, even though it's changing, I still think that the statistic shows that men, for every dollar the man make, I think women are still like 80 cents, 70 cents on a dollar. So they still haven't quite gotten there.
No,
so
we haven't gotten there yet.
We still have work to do,
we
right?
definitely still have work to do. Like I said, it's only nearly 30% of American wives are considered to be the breadwinners in their households.
Okay.
So we definitely aren't there yet. Making great strides towards it, but I think that
what are these jobs though? Like what are we talking about when we say that?
It honestly ranges. I mean, it goes from from teachers to like you gave the example of banking, branch manager and assistant branch managers. Historically, men in the exact same position were still paid more. So, and, I don't know if it's just, the culture of society being sort of brainwashed to, for the man to be the breadwinner of the household. And, and that was the justification that they used for it. I'm not sure. But it's definitely a situation where, the tide is starting to turn a little bit. We got a long way to go, like you just said. I mean, in comparison, women are only making 70 to 80 cents on the dollar compared to the man.
Yeah.
So we definitely have a long way to go, but it's a situation where we have definitely room for growth. I think more than just, this was just based on American women. It didn't break it down into race. So, and historically, black women have made even less than the white woman. When it comes to pay scales and things like that. But nowadays, women are finding themselves more educated, which is always a great thing, to have someone with, a couple of degrees in the household.
Right.
We got some degrees in our household over here. So, having some degrees in the household can definitely change your economic status in life. So I think, as long as we just continue on this uptick, I mean, Black women are definitely among the group that are fastest rising in terms of becoming breadwinners in their households. Because historically, the African American male has been more of a blue collar worker versus a white collar worker, and so, but Black women are getting more so getting more so in the white collar world nowadays. They're becoming, we have the young Black female, I forgot her name, the youngest African American female stockbroker, right now.
Oh, yeah. I was just talking about her not too long ago. Yeah,
I think her name is Lauren or Laurel or something like that.
Yeah, and she's working for a hedge fund. She's actually managing the fund, $1 billion fund. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, we're breaking barriers and breaking glass ceilings all over the place. We got Kamala Harris, the vice president of the United States now. So we're definitely getting there. We just haven't arrived just yet.
And let's be clear, so I'm looking at payscale.org. So if you guys want to go out here and look at here, on looking at this, I want to be very clear. When it comes to Black men and women, we're both at the bottom of the totem pole.
Oh, yeah.
Earners.
Definitely.
So, and that's below Hispanics.
Ain't that crazy?
Okay. And so we're definitely at the bottom of the totem pole, even though we make up 13% of the population. Mm-hmm. We're at the bottom of the totem pole. So there's definitely a need for more education and more opportunity. But I would almost argue that Black women and Black men aren't necessarily at an imbalance of pay. Black men aren't making that much more than Black women. But on the scale of men to women, normally when you hear that statistic, they're talking about white men.
Typically,
they're talking about white men, and a lot of people say because Black men are men, we get looped into white men. But when you break it out on demographics, you recognize, oh, wait a minute, not only are Black women at the bottom, but Black men are at the bottom, and Black women actually have a moment in their lifetime where they're actually above Hispanic women for a short bit of time, and then Hispanic will cross them in their 30s and overtake them, and so it becomes in order: Asian man, white woman, Hispanic man, Hispanic woman, Black, and Black. So and you can look at payscale.org. They keep up with the statistics in America. Age 22, they say the average Black male makes $48,000. Age 22, the average Black female makes $39,500, and the male peaks at 59 years old at 80,000. The female peaks at 61,000, and we're still at the bottom. Mm-hmm. So that's our statistic, and I think it's interesting that when we start talking about the female breadwinner and the gender roles that come with that, is it simply just because she's making more money that the roles are changing?
Well,
yes.
Okay, Freddie B. Tell us.
It depends on your household, but I'll go ahead, Freddie B.
I mean, I think the whole thing with all this is Black women get caught up in what white women doing. Kind of to what you just said about Black men getting looped into white men, or black women, whole feminist movement back in the day, like that one for Black women, but white women, they co-opted Black women because Black women gonna go to work. We all know that. Like if something happened and Black women get involved, like, oh, we about to go to work. They about to raise some hell, shake some stuff up, break some stuff. Like, I mean, I'm speaking all figuratively, but, stuff is going to happen. Stuff going to move. You know what I mean? And so white women knew this. They're like, okay, let's get the Black women in here because, y'all need rights too. Look, y'all need. And before that, Black women and Black men, we were good. We were Gucci. We was at the house. Black men go to work. Mm-hmm. Black woman at home, taking care of kids. Family was good. We were growing. Like, we was fighting through Jim Crow, Reconstruction, all that, building, giving birth to people like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, raising these families. We were doing good. And then white women came like, Black women, you just at the house barefoot taking care of kids? That ain't your purpose. You're supposed to be doing more, Black woman. And it's like, more what? And so then it's like, hey, look, feminist movement, fight for your rights, do this, that, and the third. And then they got co-opted in that, broke up the Black family, get in the 70s, 80s, they dropped crack in the neighborhood. Black family done. And so getting to this new age thing, like, kind of to what because I disagree with you, Lana Boo. Totally disagree with you. Because, you talk, with everything he said. So here, look. This is
No, he said everything. He said everything.
well,
Now-
I'm being a little facetious, not every single thing, but but y'all get what I'm saying. But yes, I mean, if a woman is, obviously, if a woman is doing the same job a man is doing, like, there's no reason to be paid less. But the reason why that is the case, because, it's a common unsaid thing in corporate America that's built that you don't talk about what you get paid. And which is totally false, because you look at sports entertainment, like, what Denzel getting paid for a movie, what Ben Affleck getting paid for a movie, what Patrick Mahomes' contract was, like, you look at football, that's why you can't underpay none of the quarterbacks, because you know what the market is. So when it's time for your deal, you know what the market is, you can go get your money. If it was like that in corporate, women would hop in, they know what the market is, they know I know what I'm supposed to be getting paid, so you got to pay me this. But that mystery helps the company to be able to underpay black people and underpay women for the same job. Now, to Thomas' point, that's a valid point as well. Like, you put different titles on stuff to then justify why you may pay somebody less, which, it may be justified and it may not be justified. It depends on the company. Like, that's a little bit harder to talk to.
It's more nuanced, yeah.
Right, exactly. You can't, that's like that new age racism as well. It's like, you can't really, like, it's so mystifying and amoebic. It's like, you can't really put your finger on it, because some jobs is actually like the titles are different, and so they do different stuff. It may be similar, but there's different nuance where, okay, he does this differently than you do, and that's why we pay him more. But then with the teacher thing, there aren't any male teachers. So if you have supply and demand, so if you have a male teacher, he's going to get paid more than a woman teacher, because there aren't any male teachers, and you need male teachers for these children. Because I used to substitute teach, and it was a couple of schools tried to get me to become a teacher, and they was offering me like all types of perks to skip over tests, to be certified. Or I can start teaching. I can teach up to 5 years without being certified and work on my certification and then become a teacher. A woman couldn't do that.
A woman ain't that a bitch?
A woman couldn't do that. But
that's
because
ain't that a dog? I don't know.
Ain't that a bitch? Oh yeah. I see what you did. I see what you did. Okay. I see what you did. But yeah, so it's a thing where, because in that school, like in that whole grade, they had no male teachers. None. They all female teachers. So, it's like, they want male teachers, so you gotta sweeten the pot per se to get male teachers in there. So you gotta pay them more. You gotta give them all different types of perks, because ain't none. But going back to the breadwinner in the household, I think it's a mentality. Like, I'm cool. I'm all for women moving up, getting degrees and all that type of stuff. But it's things that come with that most women can't counteract. Most women lose their femininity the more degrees they get, the more money they make, the higher they go up in business. They lose their femininity.
Think so?
They become. I know so. And I've seen it multiple times. I got
Tell us
multiple
how you
friends
feel,
that are like
Freddie.
lawyers.
Tell us why you mad.
I got multiple friends that are like lawyers, got PhDs and all this, and they get very masculine in how they move, and they end up being like just the fun girl side chicks. They just get knocked off, and then they realize like, oh, I want somebody. But why only married men just reach out to me? Why only married men be hitting me up? And because it's like men don't want to be with you because you move masculine. And when I say masculine and feminine, like it's not aggression. Because a woman can stand for her ideas and not go for no BS, but she can be very feminine. Because the thing is like every male knows that that woman, like, especially in school, that woman who wasn't going, she not going. You ain't going to just smash and pass. Like every dude know that. So so like if a new dude come around, like, oh, who's that? A male will immediately be like, bruh, don't even like, unless you gonna be with her, don't even try it, because she ain't going. Because we know who to respect and who not to respect.
But Freddie B, can I add something to that? But can I ask you this then? Does a rising tide lift all boats? I mean, hell, we both at the bottom of the totem pole. So if she's starting to make more, can we not just say, let's celebrate that and let's hope that we can get our boat lifted along the way, or no?
Yeah, and so that's a good philosophy to have. But usually, if a woman is making way more than her man, she don't this respect go out the window. Like, because it's hard for a woman to come home and respect a man how he should be respected if she making $100K and he making $40K. Because most women look like I can do bad by myself. Like, what I need you for? You ain't doing, you can't. Because the thing is that regardless of the fact of the matter is, whatever gender norms, however you categorize it, the natural incline. You look at the animal kingdom. The men provide and the men protect. And so if you're not able to provide and then even then protecting, you might can kind of do that, or you can barely do that, then you have no worth as a man. And then the woman can see that. She sees that inherently. So then she like, why do I need you? And see, she treats you any type of way.
Is that
so
a woman
as a
condition?
man, hold on, Thomas.
Go ahead.
So as a man, Freddie B, are you saying that your worth is tied into your economic status?
A big part of being a man, yes, because it's being able to provide. Because it's based on the society we live in. We live in a capitalistic society. If we go back to before capitalism, we go back to just hunter and gatherer. Then it's the man has to go out and kill and kill the beast and conquest the beast and then carry it back home. Then it's the same deal. It's the man's worth is based on him being able to go out and kill that beast and being able to carry it back home. If a woman wouldn't, back in those days, a woman wouldn't be with no man. You couldn't go out and kill the beast, and because she can't do it. So then if you can't do it, it's like, what's the point? You have no worth.
Okay, so now is this how you also personally feel, or just based on societal norms? Like, do you personally feel that your value as a man is based on how much money you make?
That's a big part of it, but it's not solely that, because it's different ways that you can provide. Mm-hmm. So as a man, you provide, that's one part financially, but it's also mentally, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, provide in all these different ways. Mm-hmm. And so as a man, you have to be able to provide that, but financially is a big part, because niggas want to eat, niggas want to have a clean, safe place to live, and it's relative. So if a woman is making $120K, her expectations of how to live are a certain level. And if you're only making $30K, then what you can provide can't meet her expectations. So that's where the respect starts to erode.
Well, let me say something. Let me say something here, because I think what we have here is a failure to cooperate. No, honestly, what we have here is, I think what we have to recognize is this a issue of wealth and prosperity in the black community? And does this same ideology translate to other communities? Because white communities overwhelmingly have women making money, and they still marry their men. And it's not a problem. He's in the house. And I think going back to something Freddie B talked about, when black women were sold this idea of femininity by white women in order to allow these white women who had a problem with their white men, right? They want to say something to their white men. They had a problem with them to get to a certain level. They needed the camaraderie of the black woman, but once they got what they needed, dropped her off along the way, and she was left holding the bag thinking, oh, I don't need no man. Yet the very women who were promoters and pioneers of this movement all married with kids and grown and grandmas now. I think one of the women that one of the people, Sue Ellen Browder, has a book called Subverted that talks about how she helped the sexual revolution hijack the women's movement. And so I think it's important to say that this does not happen equally across all demographics. There are married people right now, Hispanic, where the woman is making more. And guess what? She's not cussing and fussing her man. Matter of fact, she's coming home and doing more, which is even crazier. Like, she's taking on more roles. She's doing more in the kitchen. She's still working in the kitchen, taking care of the kids, and she's making more money. So is this isolated to black to the black community, where women feel like if you making more, oh, you ain't doing nothing, you ain't worth nothing, I can't? Is that what it is, Freddie?
See, and I think the part of it is people not understanding marriage is a business. Like, love is a part of it, and you won't love there, but primarily the whole point of marriage is a business. It's to get with somebody, have children, and build a nuclear family unit, and then those children sit on the shoulders of giants to see further, so they can do more and go further than what their parents did. And so a lot of those cultures, they understand that. So the woman ain't gonna leave the man because she know, like, okay, my children, they need me and they need their father. They don't need no broken family. So I'm not going to, leave him like, okay, I got to work. I got to do more. And he doing way less. He may not be pulling his weight, quote unquote, but I'm not about to go nowhere. We going to be here, and we going to tough it out. We going to grind it out, and we going to keep it pushing. But the thing is to what Alana Boo was saying earlier about the percentage of women making more, men going from 18 to 30%. The percentage of divorce has also went up as well, and then
80%,
70 to 80% of divorces in this country are filed by women. 50
by
to
women,
60 of those are the reason is irreconcilable differences. That means that that's a no fault divorce. That means like, I'm done. I want to go and I want to leave, and that's what a lot of specifically speaking black women do. They make more money, and that's the saying I could do bad all by myself. That's an inherently black woman statement. You don't hear white women and Mexican women, Latino women, Asian women talking about I could do bad all by myself. Exactly. But that's what black women believe. It's like you can do bad all by yourself. It kind of related to the live I did this past week about marrying potential as well. But I mean, I won't go down that road. But the thing is that, when you get married, it's a business. It's about building. It's about building something. So even if you're making more than your man, then that don't mean you come home and emasculate him and disrespect him. It's like, okay, he's still the man. Like, still treat him as such.
Right. And I want to tie this to what's going on in today's society with COVID. So, with the COVID-19 recession, the unemployment rates skyrocketed.
Yes.
And a lot of male breadwinners found themselves in a position to where they no longer were, and so then, because that personally happened in my household where my husband was the initial breadwinner. And then now with COVID and everything like that, from his main job, he was laid off. And so and then everything else that's surrounding his entertainment streams of income were also halted. NBA stopped, wrestling, everything that he was doing as side streams of income stopped. Mm-hmm. So here I am in the banking industry, and we're still considered to be basically essential workers, and so we're still going to work every day. Nothing will change for us.
My money resides. You essential worker, all right?
So you literally work where the money resides, like
literally.
Don't play with the money now. Don't play with the money resides.
No, can't play with them dollars. So this is we're living this currently, where now I'm the female breadwinner in the household, temporarily, probably more than likely. But he had to deal with, as a man, how that affects you, emotionally, and because your men, you got your pride, you got your egos, and all that kind of stuff. And so he had a moment where he had to kind of check himself to realize that his value and his worth is not all surrounding his paycheck. So in my household, I feel it's my business. Okay, now I'm the breadwinner, but it's still my job to come home and reassure this man, still make sure this man holds his head up high, because you are still the king of this household, with or without a check. So I get what you're saying, but I don't feel like it's an overriding thing for all black women. Not all black women are this.
No. Wait,
hold on, Freddie, before you go, because the question I wanted to present to you, Alana Boo, was the outliers. Are they few or are they many? Because there are a lot of situations out there that resemble yours. Yours is not unique, right? But how you handle it makes you an outlier. And the question I would have is, how many Alana Boos are there? Now, Freddie B, go ahead.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like what you just said. Like, okay, yeah, that's cool. And I mean, even with him, like that's like your husband is operating like a man. That's obviously like he's a man. That's just is what it is. And so yes, his worth and his value in the relationship, not as a singular person, but in a marriage. That's his worth, but you did your job. You see what I'm saying? But if you didn't do your job, then he probably would spiral somewhere else, and then y'all end up getting divorced. But that's what I'm saying. You understand the whole concept of marriage and where his position is, and you did your job. Women ain't doing that. That's not common. Like what you just said you did, that's not common by any means. Most women, they come in, he lost all this money. He was the breadwinner, but then this came and gutted everything. Then it's like, okay, you probably give him a couple months, but then 6 months, like, all right, okay, what's up? Like, I'm bringing all the money, I'm coming home, and then hit like, and then
6 months. What's
up? It's a timeline on this report, huh?
Exactly. Like she come home, then she like, look, okay, well, you still ain't got no job. I'm not doing no cooking. I'm not doing no cleaning. Nothing. I'm not doing nothing. When I come home, I'm gonna sit and look like you figured out. And then he might want some loving, like, no, get you a bum, like, no, and then that start to degrade or whatever like that. Like, women won't maintain the household. You know what I mean? And when I say maintain the household, I'm not saying just strictly cooking and doing domestic stuff. Yeah. I'm talking about maintaining the household, like, the maintaining the integrity of what you guys have. Most women ain't gonna do that. Like what you just said.
I mean, I've seen it on both sides. It's interesting because it kind of goes back to something you said earlier, Thomas, about your circle of friends and who you have surrounding you in your life. That's in your close circle.
We were talking about before we got on. Before
we got on to record.
Yeah.
So basically, the type of women that I have in my circle are similar or reflections of myself and to some degree.
Okay.
That's
and
important.
so
that's very important.
So these are women who in their own respects, I got one that's in the IT field, one that is an entrepreneur herself, a couple of them that are entrepreneurs themselves and are the breadwinners in their families.
And then the one I used to like, what about the one I used to like? She
You stop it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But these are all women, and we're all of basically the same mindset. And then I feel like there is this other group or category of women who are like what Freddie B is talking about, where Negro, after 4-5 months, you know what I'm saying, you ain't back on your feet, then you know what I'm saying, you got to go. I can do bad all by myself. I've heard that before too, so I definitely can speak to both sides. I've seen it before, but in my life and with who I surround myself with, it's not the I can do bad all by myself mentality. And like Thomas said, we definitely are the minority in this situation. Because it seems like, based on how the songs and stuff of today's society go, if you ain't coming with the money,
movies, right?
The Tyler Perry money, the Tyler Perry movies, the way, the hip hop industry and all that, how it kind of basically highlights, where the money resides. If he ain't got the money, he can't get none of this cookie and, all this kind of stuff.
Honey.
Exactly.
No money, no bunny.
So I get, how sort of, how society kind of can adopt that mentality, but for me personally in my circle, I know a lot of women who don't have that mentality.
But it's interesting you say that. I had a personal situation. Me personally, I was dating a woman a while back, and we're not married. Right. But we were dating, and she essentially in our relationship was the breadwinner. Like, she was living out in Williamson County and Nashville. She had a big house, the whole nine. And I was still in college trying to figure it out. I had a little job that was paying me $800 a month, and that's
Hold on, wait. We got to put that in perspective. Williamson County in the country is normally like top 3 net worth counties in the United States.
You're right. I got to put that in perspective. I'm sorry.
So somebody live in Williamson County, 9 times out of 10 they got bread.
Oh yeah,
that's where the money resides.
She was where the money resides. It was
that as well literally.
Yeah,
and it's crazy because in Franklin, the city seat of Williamson County, they have projects, but it's like the nicest projects you will ever see in the country. They look like just regular apartments, but they the projects.
Yeah. And so, I was dating this lady, and what was so interesting was part of the reason why we're not even together to this day was because when I finally was getting into that mode of realizing, like, oh snap, like she is like balling, like she is balling out of control. You know what I'm saying? She's doing her thing. I need to hop on. For me, it was motivation. You know what I'm saying? For me, it was more or less like, let me get my shit together. You know what I'm saying? Let me get out of school. Let me do this. And I'll be honest, she helped me pay for one semester of my school. I remember it like yesterday. And what ended up happening was, like, I started trying to do stuff to make money. One of the things I did was I threw parties. So I was like, well, let me throw a party. I know how to make some money real quick. I threw a party. I made some money, and that triggered her. For some reason, she was like, a man I would date ain't gonna do this. I'm like, what? Try to provide? Like, what you mean? Like, I mean, yeah, you might not have liked the party was kind of raunchy. Yeah, true. Some hood people there, true. But you know what? $5 tickets at the door and $10 drinks. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what. No, it was $5 drinks, $10 tickets at the door. And I mean, I made a little chunk of change. She got mad, broke up with me. And what was so interesting about that situation, she came back later and she had the honorable sentiment. You the king. You this. I'm sorry. I was this, that, and the third. I made a mistake. but we weren't married. So I was like, I'm out. Peace. Boom. You broke up with me. I'm out. Let's go.
We got like a little chat. So one of our producer, Buddy Lee, he just put in there about the movie Tyler Perry made called Acrimony. It's kind of about that. And the interesting thing about that, I was engaged. And I was in both positions in that relationship where I was making more money than her, and then she ended up making more money than me. And when she started making more money than me, she was getting super disrespectful. But it was one point in time, the movie, yeah. She was already slightly disrespectful, but once she started making more money, it got out of hand. And that's when I was like, okay, yeah, this ain't for me. And I broke the engagement off with her. I was like, yo, this don't seem like this is what you want to do. But the movie Acrimony, when that movie dropped, because I don't know if you guys seen Tyler Perry's Acrimony, anybody listening, or
I've seen it.
Yeah, so in that movie, the dude, he was like trying to do this invention. He's trying to get it to this company, and he's down on his luck, and he got old girl, what's her name?
Taraji.
Taraji, yeah, Taraji. She's fronting everything, which I will say, like, I think, like, what he was doing with her was a little excessive. It was a little excessive because he had her cash some stuff out and pay for some or whatever like that. It was a little excessive.
Too much stress.
And then he had cheated on her. Yeah, he cheated on her when she was younger. But the whole concept of the movie was she was supporting him, and it was during that time when I had just lost my job at Cheddar, and so then my girl at the time, she saw it and she was equating that to us. So she would we had a movie pass at the time where you could see movies for free.
Man, I miss movie pass. That was a good time, man. That was a good time of my life.
That was a beautiful time. Very beautiful.
Killing
time.
The theaters, boy. AMC loved
me. Man, I was at the movies like multiple times a week. But so we went to go see that movie. We would literally have talks. She would like just find a way to bring that movie up and to talk about it. And then you saw at the end of the movie, then he finally made this money, got with the other girl, and then Taraji lost her mind. The movie wasn't good, but the general concept of the movie, it kind of speaks to this, to where like, women sometimes have those feelings when the guy is down, especially black women who got the degrees, and that means you're making money. You're exposed to money. When you're exposed to money and you're making money yourself, you really start to feel that feeling. A lot of your women who haven't been exposed to money might maybe have some degrees, but hadn't been exposed to money. They themselves ain't making $70, $80, $90, $100,000. They have more of a feel of like, that companionship with a man. Like, I just want to be with a man. I want to be with somebody to share life with.
Right.
I think it's interesting because as we talk about this and the issues that are coming up, especially in our community, where the women who are, because you got to think about, women are breadwinners when they're single moms, right? They're the breadwinner then because they take care of themselves and their child.
Right.
And now when you get into a relationship and you're married and now you become a breadwinner, and if you still have to do the same gender roles, cook, clean, whatever, if you're doing those same gender roles and you're making the money, is there a happiness penalty because you now essentially are taking on more than what you normally had to do? I mean, Alana, maybe you could speak to this. Is there a happiness penalty happening here? Like, does it put pressure on you?
I mean, it definitely puts pressure on you. That's why I think it's so important for, when you're in relationships that you have to communicate, because, I can't read your mind. You can't read my mind. So when we come together, we're two individuals and we've decided to come together to like Freddie B say, run this business of marriage. When we decide to come together, we have to have a conversation about expectations. And, if I'm let's say in this situation, Thomas, is the man working or is he like the stay-at-home dad?
It's about when there's a happiness penalty. No, if the man is, but see, that's the thing. Is he really staying at home and being dad? Is he just being dad and he watching TV and doing the stuff So I think
I'll say this. So it's one thing, like, to what Alana Boo you just said, stay at home dad. If he's stay at home dad, that means that he's no longer looking for work. I'm assuming he's now becoming a house dad. Like, he's taking care of the house. And the thing is,
at which point he should be washing the dishes and doing the clothes and all the other stuff.
Right. Yeah. Now, if that's what he's now doing, like, he's no longer looking for work and he's going to be the house dad, then he cooking, taking care of the whole house. He doing all the domestic work around the house. But on the flip side, you got cases, which I'm assuming in your case, like your husband, he hasn't relegated himself to house dad. He's still like, okay, trying to get his stuff back going so he can get back to breadwinner status. And so you have a man like that, then it's it's one of them things where, like I said, y'all gotta buckle up. Like y'all gotta tighten up as a group and as a unit, not as a group, as a unit, and then understand to maintain the relationship. Like, okay, you as the woman, like in this bumpy time, like, okay, you going to work and then you come home and cooking, because while you at work, your husband is doing professional stuff too. He's not working, he's working on his resume, he's finding jobs, he's going to, getting his resume worked on, doing all these different types of stuff to make himself a better candidate to find more employment and to keep it moving. But then he also it's like you guys are collaborating. And that's what I imagine that was happening. Like, okay, you coming home and cooking, he get done, he come in the kitchen with you and y'all bonding, y'all keeping the bond alive because it's tough right now. So he cooking with you, y'all cleaning together, y'all doing this together, y'all doing as much stuff possible together. And it's not he's just relegated to the domestic aspect because he doesn't have a job.
Right. Absolutely. So, when the shift actually happened, it's like you have a conversation about, okay, what are my expectations now? And so for us, it's okay. For me, my roles didn't change, so I didn't feel like, okay, you're at home, so I expect you to be cooking and all that kind of stuff. So we basically had that conversation. My role don't change. I still am going to go to work, and then when I log off, because for a minute I was working from home, so that kind of made things a little easier. But now I'm back in the office in a new position. So now we know when I come home, it's still business as usual. If it's my night to cook, then I cook. And or if I need to clean up something, I clean. It's not, I don't have the expectation of him to be house dad, what I'm saying, all of a sudden just because you're not working. But that's because we communicated that amongst each other. So, he still has, he finished his real estate courses and all that kind of stuff. So now he's getting into real estate, and, his PA announcing and all that stuff is now back in motion. So things are starting to pick up, and, we are getting back to a little bit of what life used to be pre-COVID. But in the meantime, and when that transition happened, if you don't have a discussion about what your expectations are, then that can build room for a little bit of resentment. When one person feels like they're pulling the weight more than the other, like, well, damn, I've been at work all day and I didn't come home. You ain't cooked nothing, you ain't cleaned up nothing, you making a mess now, I got to clean up, So right. If you don't have that discussion about some expectations on the front end, you're kind of setting yourself up for some built up resentment along the lines at some point.
That's good.
And then you mess around here, that dude here that I can do bad all by myself.
By myself.
Right. I can do bad all by myself.
I probably that's the stupidest. That is like literally one of the stupidest terms or statements that I've heard. Like, I can do bad. Like, that means you was already doing bad, man. That means you married something bad.
Right. You married something bad. Right. I was doing bad. I want to do worse. Why you want to do that for?
Right.
I think it's interesting, and it's telling that, this conversation, even in NPR, to have the report out, is in this time, it's like, and not that it's divisive, but I'm kind of curious as to why it came out, because at the end of 2020, there was a jobs report that came out that basically said that of all the jobs that were lost, majority of those jobs, a vast majority of those jobs were women, and in December, all the jobs were women. All the jobs that were lost in December were female. They went back to the employment status of 1984. So you're telling me the same amount of people that were in the same amount of women that were in the workforce in 1984 are in the workforce in 2021. And so the reason why I even brought up the question about your situation being an outlier, because it seemed to be even more of an outlier, that not only do you have a woman that's making money in the house, but she's also the female breadwinner, but she still got a job in 2021.
In 2021, yeah.
And so
and got a new position. Sound like you got a raise or a promotion or something.
Oh, she got. Oh, I didn't hear that.
I got a promotion.
Oh,
yeah.
dang!
Exactly.
That money reside. Where the money reside? I heard that. So I mean, and listen, celebrating you and your blessings. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna say
Freddie
thank you,
B
Jesus,
listening
for that.
Okay.
Yeah. That's we celebrate.
Yes, definitely thankful
you.
over here.
Yeah, but at the same time, does that make you uncomfortable? You know what I'm saying about having these new roles? Like, how do you feel about that?
I'm not gonna lie. When it first happened, when he first came home and said, babe, they just, laid us off, with everything surrounding COVID, it kind of hit me, a little hard. And I was like, oh shit, like, it's on me. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's on
damn,
me,
you know,
homie.
Exactly.
right.
That's the part a lot of women be like, and that's fair. That's most women. Like that's natural inclination. Like when it's like, oh, the household is on you. Like
Right.
as a dude, as a man, your wife come home like, oh, I lost my job. You like, okay, cool. Well, shoot, I got a boss. Like, boom, it is what it is.
Right.
But
So
vice
for
versa.
a moment, I kind of felt, kind of like my equivalence of what a man feels like in the role of provider.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the pressure that y'all, can feel and have on your back sometimes.
Come on.
Being, the king of the household and being the one that, is like, yes, I got to provide, I got to protect my family. So
Heavy is the head,
for
they say.
it is, and at the moment he said those words to me, it's like all that pressure kind of hit me at once. And I was like, oh shit,
Right.
I was like, okay. But on the outside, I still had the appearance and it was still heartfelt and true to me of, okay, now I need to comfort him in this moment. What I'm saying, to let him know that everything will still be okay. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna miss a beat. Everything's still gonna be okay. I'm riding with you. I'm not, I'm not throwing the deuces. I'm out, like none of that. Like I support you during this situation and, and anything I need to do to step up to do, I'm here to do. So, but yeah, I felt that for a moment, that pressure kind of hit me and I was just like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, so this is what it feels like, and that was the first time, I've ever been in the situation to be the breadwinner of a household. And like I said, I didn't want it, of course you're not trying to make it awkward or make anybody feel any type of way. So I had to, I had to stay in my role and just, and kind of bring him around to the idea that everything is okay. Your value has not diminished in my eyes because you have lost a job.
That's powerful. That's powerful. And I think that a lot of times what's happening is that we have to address, I think the bigger the underlying issues in our community, at least, is that, do our women respect the men? I think, do you even respect me? Like you talking about having a husband and getting married, but you got to respect the black, the men, period, before you can even step to that. Because if something like this happens, how do you get to a place where you can have a conversation in your head like Alana Boo did to step to her man and say, you know what, you still got it, boo. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna work through this thing together. I think that takes having a high level of respect for men, period. And it may have something to do with your surroundings, the people, how you were raised, the men that are around you. And it may also have something to do with what you've done with your perspective in the world, because so many women have bought into this idea that I don't need no man. I don't need no man. I can do this all. Even the feminists that are trying to fight for the right for equality, equal pay, even the people who are fighting for these rights recognize, similar to our Internet Never Lost segment, right? You're fighting for these rights in the midst of a world that was built by men. Mm-hmm. You can't name me anything that women have built in this world. And so when you start to think about it, everything that women are doing to operate, they're operating inside of what men have built. And so when you start looking at it like that, in order for the narrative to really change means, you got to go build something, which is going to take centuries to get to. Unless you're going to have to dismantle what's already here so you can rebuild it up the way you want it, if you want to control that narrative like that. And B, what you have to recognize is that there are men out here who do not look at you as some little peasant thing. We respect women. We know what women have women have equal footing, equal place here. We're not building this for the sake of us building. We're building it for you, for us. And so that we can transfer that seed.
Yeah, and so like to what you said, a lot of women that hear that and feel like you're saying women ain't nothing. And the thing is that there's a lot of women feel like, oh, okay, I don't need no man, but I've never heard of a man. Maybe somebody out there can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know of any man that's ever fixed his mouth to say, oh, nigga, I don't need no woman. I don't know that. I don't know that. I'll be like, what? If I heard a dude saying, I don't need no woman, I'll be like, what? Why do you say that? Why like, what do you say this for?
And that's how I feel when I hear women, that have that opinion. You know what I'm saying? That when I hear women that have that, I don't need a man, you know what I'm saying? I'm good all by myself, that type of mentality. I don't rock with that. You know what I'm saying? that's just not embedded in me. So it's like I can't relate.
I think it's the emotion. I think it's the emotion in women because, like what Thomas just said. Thomas said you can't find a civilization, you can't find a place that women have built. Like men have, this whole thing like men have built. But then on the flip side, like if a woman said like, oh, you're not going to find something, a civilization that women haven't nurtured, that men have nurtured. And if you say that, like men be like, oh, yeah, you're right. Like there's no civilization that women haven't nurtured. Like all these different, like you can go to all these civilizations around the world, like, were built by men, they were nurtured by women. And just about every man will agree with that. Like no man will fight you. Nobody like, what you, but vice versa. If you say that towards a woman, like women somewhere will rail against that. Like,
yeah.
But I think it's emotion because men are led by logic, women are led by emotion. But you have the women who have their emotions, but they keep their emotions in check with logic. Like every now and again, emotions might get the best of them, but for the most part, they keep it in check by logic. And those are your women that you usually find that end up getting with a man, being with him for years, having a nice life to where they get to the end of their life. Like my life was cool. Like I have no complaints.
Yeah, it's kind of like it goes back to that. Like if you about to get robbed, a man comes up to your car window and about to bust your window in with a hammer. You know what I mean? What are you gonna do? Woman, what are you gonna do? His physical hand strength is stronger than yours.
It's stronger, yeah.
You know what I mean? But what are you gonna do? Hopefully you got a gun. So I mean, what are you gonna do? If you had nothing, what would you do?
Or even not even a hammer. Just a dude just ran up to the car.
And
he had a towel. Because all
they
gotta do is wrap a towel around his hand. He could bust your window. He just punch it and bust your window. And he do that. Then nobody got any weapons. What's gonna happen? You know what I mean? You might have to help him find a weapon because if not, he on your ass.
But I think that even in this society, as this narrative starts to change and the gender roles start to change, it does have to be an equal balance though. If she's going to go to work and make the money, then if he's at home, why don't he just take care of the household? It seems to me like an easy flip. And in my
seems that way.
It seemed like just an easy flip for me. And in my situation, when the woman I spoke about that I was with, that was making more money, I was cool with stuff like that. You know what I mean? I was cool with stuff like I'll do whatever you need me to do. Because the thing about it is at the end of the day, I know what position I'm in. I'm trying to get out of school. I was trying to I'm trying to get this degree. I'm going to school and you making all this money. And now I'm like, dang, well, let me step my game up. But you know what I mean? But she was making the money. I knew what it was. And it did not. And it's so funny because I think I know I'm an outlier. Because me as a man, I did not feel any less being with her. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel like any less. I actually, you know what I'm saying? And part of that came from her, but a lot of that came from me. I was okay with who I was because I knew where I was. I knew where I was going. You know what I mean? And it wasn't nothing. Nobody could stop my flow. You know what I mean? Like she would be a part of the prize for me. She would be a part of the prize that I got along the way. You know what I mean? That's how I looked at it. Like it wasn't just because she was making more money, it didn't make me any less. I actually celebrated that. Matter of fact, let me help you. Let me help you figure out how to invest that money.
Yeah, but Thomas, you're not an insecure man.
Right. So that's why I say I know I'm an outlier. Yeah.
Yeah. So do y'all feel like a lot of, the connection between the income and like the male ego is wrapped up in security? I mean insecurity. Like you feel like if I lose my job, then I've lost my position. Now I'm extremely insecure. Does that ring true for most men?
I mean, I think.
Well, go ahead, Freddie. I'll let you go first. Yeah. Well, okay.
I mean,
who going first, Freddie?
you the host. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, no, I was just going to say personally what I think for me, my ability to take care of the household is bigger than my job. It's about my resources. It's about my ability to actually. And my grandfather was this way. My grandfather built his house by hand. My dad and my grandfather built that house. And to know that, to have that in my purview, in my pocket, in my history book, right? I catalog that and I say to myself, if they can do it by hand, who am I not to? Yeah, they gotta have a little money to buy the brick and the mortar, but hell, you could make you know what mortar is an aggregate, it's some mud, it's some water. Some dirt and water. You put that together, and that's your cement. So just knowing the knowledge of it, right? That would make me, I think if I did not have the knowledge of what to do next, if I lost my job, I would be stuck. But because I have spent my life positioning myself that if something happened, I can still take care of my household. I ain't scared of McDonald's. I ain't scared of Burger King. If I got to hop in there for a little while and work, I ain't scared to clean up nobody's flow. I ain't scared of work. You know, if I would do what I need to do to make sure that my household is taken care of. However, I am very money conscious and I'm very financially sound in the sense that I understand if we spend an X number right now and I lose a job, we can't live like this no more.
Right.
I'm not even gonna play with you. Let's go ahead downgrade this thing. Let's make this, because we know how to hold on to the money. The money reside. I know where it reside at the bank. I'm coming to see you, Alana. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I know where the money resides. So I think for me, it's just knowing that it's like having the confidence of even if things go wrong. You know, I always think about the way, and this is probably not a good way to think. And, you know, people, you don't have to model me after this, but this is my own personal. I think if I ever am in a position where I'm totally disabled and all I can do is use my mind, how can I provide for my household? If all I got is my mind, I don't have my body no more. I don't have my strength. You know what I mean? All I could do is say this, that, and the other. I can only tell you what I need to have done. Can I still provide? And that's the extreme I have taken it to, because that's the way the men in my life have thought and taught me. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't be stuck because the world said one thing or another. Because the world for black men is not the same as it is for white men. We don't have the same opportunities.
Right.
But I can live knowing that, or I can live preparing myself to get over that. And that's the difference for me. But Freddie B, go ahead.
It all changes, depends on the society you live in. You can live in a hunter-gatherer society, capitalistic society, agricultural society, whatever the type of society you live in. You know, the what a man doesn't change. It's provide security. You know, like gather, go out and get the stuff and provide security for his family, because his wife can't do that. You can't task your wife to provide security for the family because of what we said. You know, the woman being the weaker vessel, as in, you know, physically, there's different things physically she can't do. You know, it's why we have an NBA and a WNBA. It's just because men, our bodies are made differently. Is you know, through and through. Right. So it's different things that she just can't do. And so and so with that being said, since we possess this thing that women don't possess, then we have to live in that space of providing that security and providing those resources. And so I think that, you know, it's not necessarily I think it's an element of insecurity because the lack of security is insecurity. So it's, you know, vice versa with a woman. If a woman isn't able to nurture, like she's not nurturing, she's not doing it, and or whatever the case may be. Because the thing is that our role can sometimes be affected by outer situations or be taken away from us, like what Thomas said. You know, if you paraplegic, and so then now you're severely limited. You know what I mean? As with a woman, it's more so like a choice. Like it's more, you know, it can be taken away, but it's more of a choice to be nurturing, because, you know, you are working with what the man brings in. You know, so it starts with him. Everything starts with him. If he not bringing it in, then the responsibility of a woman to nurture, you know, it's kind of alleviated from her, because it's like he ain't brought them food home. He ain't brought the animal home.
Ain't nothing for me to nurture.
Right. There ain't nothing there for you to nurture. You know what I'm saying? So like, but that's the level of the patriarchal.
I know that thing hard to say. I know.
Right. Society, you know, because it's like, I think for so many years, it's like it's looked upon as the woman just doesn't get this, and then the man can do whatever. It's a balance. Because like I said, it's like the woman, she don't have to do anything until the man does something. So it's based on like, he got to start it. He got to start it and get it going and make it happen. And then once he start making it happen, then she has something to do. You know what I mean? But that's a responsibility that's tied to him. So it's not like a woman has to like, okay, you have to start us off. And it's like, because that's more responsibility when you got to start it off, when you got to get it going. You know what I mean? It's just like a boulder. You know, if you're going to get a boulder rolling, like to get that boulder start moving, I mean, that's a lot of damn work. But once it's moving, then okay, cool. People hop in and roll it. Okay, then it gets easier. So, you know, I think that's the part that people miss. And I think sometimes even some men miss understanding the responsibility that they have at the beginning. And it's like I said, it's all about that protection and security. Like if a man isn't able to do that, then because he's not a nurturer. A man isn't a nurturer. You know what I mean? You just, like I said, you look at our physical bodies, like our hands are bigger, our fingers are larger, like, you know, our skin on our skin on our bodies are thicker. Like women's skin are thinner, so you can your touch is you're more sensitive, you know, you like, and actually like physically sensitive. Like you can maneuver with babies easier than a man. You know what I mean? Like it's different things you can do with your fingers, and you know, and you can get into places easier because you know you got that femininity, you got that flow, as opposed to men. You know, we're stronger, which is like that's why a lot of men don't even whip their kids until they get like 6, because they just like, I'm just too strong. Like, okay, if you gonna whoop your kids, you gonna let the wife whoop her, because it's like, okay, she not as strong as me. You know what I mean? So, you know, she's more delicate. So it's just the natural order of how we're created. And it's about working together, like understanding your responsibility and the other person understanding their responsibility. And then y'all coming together and fulfilling that.
Right.
So, okay. So I want to get our final thoughts on this then, so we can wrap this up, because I'm kind of curious. What do we think ultimately about these 21st century gender norms? As we have more female breadwinners coming, I guess, in the marketplace, like coming online, and there are changes truly to where the money's at. Is this affecting? Is this going to be a positive thing? Do we see this as an overall negative thing, or do we see this thing ultimately, ultimately moving further, like where it becomes 40, 50, 60, 70% women doing the same thing? You know what I mean, making more money. I mean, what do we think? What are our final thoughts on it?
I mean, I think it's overall negative, and the reason why I say that is because, like, I think it's a large ask to expect women to take on that role of being provider and being protector and providing security, and then also in that same token having a mentality to what Alana, the mentality she has, that she said she approached her marriage with. I think that's a large task because, you know, obviously she's not average. She's not an average woman. You know what I mean? She's above average. And so I think it's a large task to expect the average woman to then become that. You know what I mean? Because that's like exceptional. So it's like, in what world can we realistically expect average to become exceptional? That's unrealistic. So as women continue to earn more and make and get more degrees, marriage and the institution of it will continue to degrade. Divorce rates go up, families get broken up, people that get raised up, women become more masculine, men become more feminine, and then we eventually get to where, what is gender? Like, it's just people out here, and there's no order. there's
people out here.
It's just people. There's no order to anything. It's just do what you want to do, and you know, we you know, I mean, just the fact that like, there's nothing in this world where people can just do whatever you want to do, and that works.
That's true.
Alana Boo, final thoughts. 21st century gender norms, female breadwinner, changes to where the money resides.
Changes to where the money resides. Well, personally, in my life, you know, I've seen a lot of female breadwinners. Like you said, Thomas, because a lot of households, especially in the African American community, are ran by women. A lot of times, the father is not in the picture. So the woman
society. It's a very matriarchal society in African.
It is. It is. And so, you know, I'm kind of used to that. So for me to see that, it's not much of a change for me because I'm used to seeing it. But so I would like to believe that, you know, it's a positive thing. As the incomes start to sort of balance out with, you know, men and women in the same position, I'd like to believe that it's a positive thing. But you know, Freddie B did make a valuable argument that with this rise in female breadwinners, the femininity sort of leaves. And which means, you know, the nurturing can also leave as well. And you're left with a woman that, you know, is a little bit more masculine. Because I've seen it both ways. I've seen it where the woman, you know, like myself, becomes a breadwinner and it doesn't change us. But like you said earlier, I'm kind of a minority in that situation. So there are more examples of, you know, the woman getting in the position and she does become a little bit more masculine. So I can see it from both angles. Like I said, I like to believe it's more of a positive thing as things start to balance out, but I definitely see both angles. So I'm kind of divided on the issue right now.
Right, I'm the same way. I would hope that I'm wrong. I mean, Lord
right.
knows. I was this is something I would love to be wrong on, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
So,
but I can see that. You know what I'm saying? And like we said, like within the movies like Acrimony, with the way the music industry is surrounding, the women have the attitude of, if you ain't got no money, don't talk to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No money, no honey. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. That
right.
is what is today's norm. So the people, the children that are listening to this right now, that's the mentality that they're going to develop. So as they grow up and the pay scales become to balance out a little bit, and if that's the mentality that they're growing up with, it's gonna be a negative situation.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about that is like the women in the music business who like be preaching that, you look at like Cardi B and like her energy, how she raps, and Megan Thee Stallion, and when she dropped the album, how she rapped. Like Cardi B, totally married and a straight like housewife. She like a housewife. She's straight.
Did you see the
feminine.
video that Offset posted? He said you be lying in your music. He was filming her while she was cleaning the bathroom.
Right, exactly.
Oh, yeah, because she said she don't cook, she don't clean.
He's
Yeah.
like, I thought you said you don't cook, you don't clean. What you doing?
Right,
She was
exactly.
like,
And then,
she's like, don't film me. Shut up. Don't film me.
And then Megan Thee Stallion, she had put out some song. I think it was the Savage song while she was with Moneybagg Yo. Like she in a relationship with Moneybagg Yo, and they doing their thing, and in that relationship, I can guarantee you, she feminine. She ain't no Savage and this woman with Moneybagg Yo. Like,
no, I heard she can't take the D. I heard she can't even take the D. She be running from
I don't know. I can't comment on that. I've never tested that out. If I do, then I can let you
respect. Know. You're right. You respect. I shouldn't be speaking on.
Please let us know, Freddie B.
That's a rumor. That's a rumor.
Right.
Sorry about
I mean, like when it comes to sex, I ain't gonna comment on nobody's sexuality unless I got some
validation.
Some sure evidence. Like, okay, with that, it's like, okay, yeah, I was in the room, I was over there, Moneybagg Yo was in there, and I heard something like, oh yeah, she can't take it. And then I'm like, yeah, you're right, because I was in Vegas with her.
But she you definitely feel like she's on her. It's kind of like Nicki Minaj too. Nicki Minaj was all that hard puff, huff and puff. And I said this when she first came out. I said and I think it was offensive to some women. I couldn't figure out why, because I was just making an honest statement. I was like, listen, I think she's
you killing the fantasy, Thomas. You was killing the fantasy, man.
I was looking at. I said, I'm looking at a domesticated female. She wants to be at home raising a kid. Well, look at what we have here now.
Exactly.
She ain't put out no music in a minute. Yeah, and that's what she said on a interview on the radio show. Angie, I think it's Angie Martinez. Is her name
Martinez? Yeah.
She said, had things not popped off, or things just being even slightly different, I'd be married right now with a kid. And this is 8 years ago. Okay, so she said it's in the height of her career. So I've been, not that all women are that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting her, but I understand what Alana's saying. In the music industry, a lot of stuff that's promoted, but yet she's promoting this rough and tough with her Afro puff type woman, and she herself is not that. And it's the same thing. I don't even know if I mentioned this, but the same thing with the lady from the Cosmopolitan magazine. They are old, married with grandkids, talking about delay pregnancy, but yet they got kids and they got grandkids.
Right. So it's like they portray, the fantasy onto us. But, the issue is, it's like you buy into that, and that becomes your reality when the people who pushed it upon you, that's not even their reality.
That's not even their reality. Right. If you look at who's pushing that, that's not even what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's like being the CEO of Hostess Cakes, but you're a vegetarian.
Damn. That's right. You don't even eat that. So yeah. Well, listen, man, it seems we have way too many feelings about, where the money resides. Way too many feelings about this. But you know what? I ain't mad about it, because this is the kind of discussion that we need to continue to have in our society, especially as Black Americans. We definitely need to be having this conversation, because we need to figure out what's going on. We need to have healthier relationships, no matter who's the breadwinner. Right? We need to have communication no matter who's leading the household. We need to make sure that we are doing the things that we need to do so that we can survive centuries from now. We need to pass our seeds down and make sure that we're financially in a place where we're not in poverty, because we still number one in poverty. We need to make sure that we're doing the things to grow our kingdom. Listen, send us a message. Our handles are in the description. Let us know how you feel about the 21st century gender norms, the female breadwinners, and the changes in where the money resides. This has been a good one. I've been here with
She made man Freddie B.
Oh, so you left it? So you left the building, Freddie B?
He left the building.
Oh, damn, Freddie B left the building.
I left the building and went home because the heat on at home.
Oh, dang. Okay, and who else I'm here with?
It's your girl Lana Boo.
All right, boo y'all. She put one on y'all today. Y'all ain't ready for that. I want to let you know she's a high value woman. I want all y'all to know that's a high value woman you talking to right there. But guess what? She's taken. And I'm yours truly, T Staples. And make sure you catch us next time when we have too many feelings. Peace.